Hello, thank you everyone for joining my talk. Thank you, dear Julie, for inviting me, and thank you, Laval Virtual, for having me here today. My name is Tina Sauerlaender, and I will be speaking about curating between the worlds, about digital media in the physical space and physical media in digital realms. And I decided to split the talk in two parts. In the first part, I will be highlighting the virtual reality exhibitions and the physical space that I curated. And the second part will be about our online exhibitions and how we integrate physical media. So, to get started with virtual reality exhibitions, they all took place in several institutions. Like here, the Unframed World Virtual Reality as Artistic Medium in 2017 took place at the House of Electronic Arts in Basel in Switzerland. And the exhibition dealt with how different artists explore the conditions or boundaries or possibilities of the digital medium or virtual reality, and in contrast to the real life and the physical world. And for example, Bunsen Bowinkel created the work Mercury, which with lots of interfaces to the real world. Alfredo Salazar Caro expanded the notion of portraiture in the virtual realm. Lee Eileen did futuristic feminist work and installation. And Rachel Rosson showcased her paintings that she then transferred, or let's say translated, in virtual reality. And there is one work I would like to introduce more in detail, which is Martha Hipley's Your Cardboard Pet. And the user in the exhibition space first takes a test on the screen in front of him or her. And in this test, the user has to answer like many questions, like what's your favorite Harry Potter? What's your favorite soda? What's your favorite area of Will Smith? So many funny questions. And here the artist mocks these teenage magazine tests where you answer a bunch of questions, and then in the end you get your result. You get to know what kind of type you are. You get to know what kind of boyfriend would be perfect for you. And of course, the same happens also here. In the end, after you answered all the questions, Martha created 5 different types of boyfriends. And one of this is shown here. So this is what you would see in VR, your perfect boyfriend or your cardboard pet, as you want to define it. And as you can see is that the user in the exhibition space perceives the boyfriend via a customized VR cardboard headset. And the device you see around it is like made of silicon, and it heats up and it also vibrates. So while seeing your boyfriend, you can touch your boyfriend and you will have a real physical experience seeing him in VR. And another exhibition I would like to introduce you to is Speculative Cultures that took place at Parsons New School in New York in 2019. And for this show, we invited artists who speculate on cultures in virtual reality, meaning that they all were exploring their own cultural background or cultural ancient cultures, their own like history of their own country, for example, like all these aspects of cultures and history. And yeah, for example, Scott Benessi Navandan takes us through a journey through wormholes in the future, which is actually the past. And Moroshin Alayari showcased her work, or part of her work, She Who Sees the Unknown, the Yajuj and the Majuj. And Matthias Bonacci took us on a techno-spiritual tour in virtual shamanism. And for the viewer of the show, it is interesting to see how different symbols or characteristic like ideas of shamanism, the concept of the sun, or sacred geometry appear or reappear in different cultures to different times around the globe, and yeah, basically showing the connection between all of them. And one work I want to highlight here, also again because of the different media that are involved here, is the work The Neo Kingdom by Erin Coe and Jamie Martinez. And yeah, and you basically enter the triangle as a visitor. You stand in this triangle. There's one part where you enter and another part where you would access the installation. And the VR takes you on a journey to your own afterlife, all embedded in ancient Egyptian culture and the Book of the Dead. And the second part of their installation involved artistic manifestations or versions of the Book of the Dead, works by Jamie Martinez, and here augmented reality works by Erin Cole, where she animated all these stories and symbols in augmented reality. And the third show I would like to introduce you to is Speculative Species, VR Art in the Age of the Anthropocene, that took place at Espronceda Center for Art and Culture in Barcelona in 2019. And here we invited artists that all deal with the relationship between humans and animals in different ways. For example, Lara Torrance speculates on or deals with extinct or almost extinct species in New England. In Juan Leparc's Meat Temple, the user is confronted with his or her own consumeristic behavior in terms of meat consumption. In Jacob Stenson's Reanimated, the user encounters an extinct bird. And yeah, Bianca Kennedy's and the Swan Collective's work, Animalia Sum, I would like to introduce more in depth. Here, the user is actually a little bug being eaten by human in the first scene, as you can see here. And yeah, here are some more like really short clips of this whole experience. As you can see, all the little like figures and animals have been handmade by the artists and then scanned and animated. Yeah, and the bug complains that humans plan to eat like millions of bugs for their proteins, to have enough proteins. And yeah, the bug says that instead of like killing millions of bugs, you could also eat like one whale and kill just one animal for the same amount of proteins. And yeah, of course, these two get into a fight in the experience. For the physical installation in Barcelona, the artists created these huge blow-ups of the bug and the whale actually fighting, which you can see here. And this way of, yeah, creating physical reality out of virtual reality, the artists, the Swan Collective, already introduced an earlier show that I curated at the Goethe Institute in Toronto in 2019, Touching from a Distance Too. And in the picture above, which is a screenshot of the VR experience, here we are at Turing Torture. You can see all these like floating arms and hands with mobile phones or just some likes. And in the show, the artists again created these huge blow-ups versions of these hands that look like AR actually in the space, but these are like physical elements that have been in the exhibition space. Yeah, and the second part of my talk will be about the Peer2 Spaces online exhibitions. And we started with them in 2016 when Carla Gannis invited me to co-curate the screening Narcissus animated self-portraits, which took place at the closing event of her pseudo show at Transfer Gallery at that time. And yeah, we collected like 50 animated GIFs by many great contemporary artists, and you can access all the works at the Vimeo link that is written below here. And the show itself, which we created after the screening, took place on New Hive. Unfortunately, the platform does not exist anymore, so the show is lost, unfortunately. But yeah, this was the initial start for the Peer2Space online shows, was this project, and we continued doing shows on New Hive, like these two, on abstract art and digital art, Cat Heroicus Sublimis, which was based on a physical exhibition we did in Berlin, and the same goes for Our City Surrounded, which originated from an exhibition I curated in Tel Aviv at Feinberg Projects. However, these two shows are lost anyway, unfortunately. That's why we decided to create our own websites to host our shows, like we did with this exhibition, Mermaids and Unicorns. The exhibition design is by Emilie Gervais, and the show presents works of approximately 50 artists, all dealing with concepts of digital obsolescence and evanescence, and they are all united in this show, and you can see here how the objects are floating while scrolling through, and you can already see the different media that combined here, like a documentation of a sculpture or a drawing, or also video works that you can access here via this website. And also here, I muted them all now to be able to showcase them and talk with it. And also here, this is a work by Rose Iken, for example. These are all like little handmade porcelain sculptures that are installed on this table here. And actually huge work by Gregor Hildebrand, one of Aram Barthol's dead drops. And yeah, you can see all these works floating by while scrolling through the exhibition. Yeah, and also this online show, Claiming Needles, takes place on an own website and is also designed by Emilie Gervais. And this show is a Peer2Space show, which was curated by Peggy Schönegger and Daria Zub. And yeah, Claiming Needles, Positions of Contemporary Embroidery Art, unites also almost 50 positions of international artists. And that's one of our approaches to try to present as many works as possible regarding one topic, and create an online show with many works, like a show which would be really difficult to realize in physical realm. So that's the approach also of our online shows. And yeah, of course, I cannot present all the works in detail now, but of course, I encourage you to visit our website and look at the works. That's it from my side. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.